man?
I played a Nas track earlier.
Hey,
off of his King's Disease 3.
Oh, I love that album, dude. I love all his. You know what? I was like a Nas fan when I was a kid, but as I've gotten older and his music kind of relates more to me now on a lot of the things he talks about, you know?
It's better now.
His new stuff is like super relatable. Like I'd say he's like definitely my top artist. And La Russell.
Oh yeah, La Russell is tight, man. He's doing it different too, straight out his backyard.
See, that's some motivating stuff, right?
Straight out of his backyard.
Yeah, and I like it. I mean, all his messages are just like super relatable, you know, being active in the community and.
Yeah, he's dope with his content creation too. I think that's just hella tight. Okay, well shoot, we can get it started, man. I appreciate you coming.
Oh yeah, it's all good, man. Do I need earphones? Or are we good? No, I don't. I'm good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're all right.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'll make sure your levels are all right. You on guest mic 1?
For sure. Here you go.
Oh yeah, thank you.
I got you some of these, so you can pass them out, whatever.
We could. Yeah, I'll put them in a nice strategic spot, so that people could walk by and be like, "What's that?" So. If you guys just tuned in right now, you tuned in at the perfect time. We got a treat right now. We have Andrew Espino in the building, fresh off of an event that he put together, and also out here in San Jose. If you've ever heard of One Culture, or you've seen some paintings on walls, I mean like the big murals.
Yep.
You know, that's
us.
That's my basic introduction.
That's a good one, man.
But what's up, man? What's going on this weekend?
Man, I mean, it was crazy, man. So we had a show in Oakland over at the Loom. It's a kind of an art venue. We did a tribute show for the Jacka. So. This story's long, but we'll do the short version of it. Even today, man, I'm still tripping on like actually what went down. I don't know the numbers exactly, but we had a lot of people come through. I think it's estimated to be over 1,000 folks that actually came to the door.
Yeah.
Especially with the rain and everything that was going down, but man, we did a great job. Everybody involved, the Jacka documentary that is taking place, and that's actually what initiated the whole show. So. Going back 6 months ago, what happened was I got a call from these young gentlemen that were like, yo, I want to put together this Jacka documentary, and this is what we're doing. It's already in full motion, but we want to be able to do an art show. So he has an annual art show that his mom puts on. And so they wanted to kind of like build off that. And so when they brought to me the concept and idea, to be honest, the first time they presented it to me, I was like, nah, I can't do it, because I never met him. You know, I loved his music, but when someone presents to you like, yo, I want you to do this art show and do a tribute show to this artist, and I want you to kind of tell their story, for me it was like, oh, I can't do it. You know what I mean? It was like, I really had like a really tough time trying to understand exactly how I could do that and then take on that responsibility and really hold it to a high level. So the story goes, I actually turned down, not because I didn't believe in it, it's just I didn't actually believe in myself to do it, you know? And so...
it's like a really big task. Bro.
Yes. You know, it's like...
felt some pressure, like, whoa.
Yeah, all that, bro. And so, like, you know, after I thought about it, they called me back again, and they were like, look, you know, we really would like you to do it. I prayed about it, you know, and I really took it all in, and I was like, you know what? Something spoke to me, and I was like, I think I could do this. In fact, I want to do this, you know? And so shortly after, you know, I started thinking of some ideas, and it was a lot to really grasp. And then I ended up talking to my cousins who used to have a record label back in the day, Money Hungry. And so they used to roll with like Tracks a Million and
R.I.P. Yeah.
They went to high school with them, you know, they went to Andrew Hill, Seven Trees, and anyhow, they actually knew Jacka, and so it was a trip because they started telling me stories about him, you know, and they didn't have a very close relationship, but they met him, they hung out with him, you know, they had a lot of the inner circle. They knew a lot of the inner circle, hung out with him, but then it kind of like opened up my eyes a little bit more, like, hey, there's a lot, he's connected to a lot of people here in the Bay Area. And as I started talking to more people and I started to hear these stories, I started to get closer to who he was as a person. You know, I was listening to people. I was talking to moms. You know, we called moms and asked moms for the blessing. And
Mama Jack.
Yeah. And so Mama Jack, and like, you know, this whole process, it wasn't about a show. It was about his life.
Right. And
I wanted to embody that, you know.
What I noticed, because I spoke with Timothy Slater last week.
Yeah, and Tim was a big part of it, but go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of what he was saying. He was saying that though it is kind of a celebration of Jacka and his music and his life, is the documentary, which the event was based around, is showing him as like a person rather than the persona that not even persona, because he rapped about his real experiences, but like towards like the end, for lack of better words, like he did start putting in like stuff about his beliefs and higher powers and Islam
all that, you know. Like I think all that was so important because like if you listen to his music from when he first starts to before he passed, like it was very similar, you know. Like I'm not trying to put anybody in categories, but I felt like I grew up off Tupac, and I felt like there was a very close connection. Like there was two sides of the Jacka, you know. There's this playful, you know, spiritual, and then you have somebody who grew up in this environment who's also very raw, you know. And so when I started to learn more about him, that's when I started to really put the concepts and ideas of the show. And as you know, we're actually going to display a lot of the video and pictures so everyone can see what we're talking about. But as you enter the first part, you know, you went to it. Yeah, right?
Yeah, man, I don't want to take the thunder, though.
Yeah.
I'll give you my opinion in a second.
Before we get to actually the way it came out, I think leading up to it, a lot of folks don't know that the venue was changed 3 times.
Yeah, how'd you find the venue? Because that area is
Jacka found it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, the way it worked out is it was supposed to be at Soma, and for whatever reason, you know, we planned around it. We even had a full layout to it. We had everything rocking, and then it just didn't work out. And then we moved it to another venue, a similar situation. We went through the concept, the layout, and then that was pulled. And then Tim and the whole team called me and they were like, look, we got to change the venue again, you know. And I was like, oh man, because that's the hard part, is locking down the space, the area, how you want to do it. And so when we get to the Loom in Oakland, it was just a long storage hallway. And then as you turn left, you go down that long hallway, there's another storage.
Yeah.
And then you go into the showroom, and it was a bigger storage. I mean, everything was like 10 feet high. And you see the room, it's like 5,000 square feet plus.
Yeah, it's big.
So there was nothing but debris in there. And so when I looked at that, I was like, this is just getting tougher and tougher, because also there was no budget. And most people don't understand this. We did this with absolutely no funds. I mean, when I talk about bare bones, we had just enough. I mean, One Culture contributed and donated. We did not get paid for this. In fact, we sponsored and participated financially into this. And so, I mean, that's what
hours too.
The man hours. There you go, the man hours, because all of us have other careers. So, you know, our team, they have, some of them are teachers and labor, you know, contractors, and myself have my own business. So the man hours that we put into this, right? And so all that, when you take into account, what we did was, it made it so special, you know. But when I walked into this venue, I didn't feel it was possible again. You know, I was like, this is not gonna happen. You know, I couldn't even visualize how we were gonna map it out.
I have to say that I was surprised after I got to the end of the hallway with the murals, like, and then you turn left. Well, it's over with now, right?
Yeah, it's over.
So the only way you can see it is on the internet, or you could visualize it from what we're talking about.
Right.
Here. But it's like this long hallway, and it had dope murals on there. Even it had a couple of walls where people like signed. Maybe they put some Jacka lyrics. Maybe they put their tag. Maybe they put R.I.P. Jack or M.I.P. Jacka, Mob in Peace.
Yeah.
Yeah, once you got to the back, like the area where the DJ was playing the tunes, like it was lit, but it had this feeling to it, and then it had 94th and Jack had the whole like street sign in there, and then like trippy thing about the street sign is that if you turn left, like you go down the street, you go through the hallway, and then like the area where the car was, I was just like, wow, you know?
Right.
There was so much space. How'd the car get in there? One, just...
Well, and exactly, like, that's another 10-minute conversation just to get the car in there, you know? But going back to the full installation, I remember the second time I went to that venue, because the first time it was overwhelming, so I was like, I don't know how we're going to do this. But the second time, it was almost like I immediately knew what to do. So when I walked in there, I seen it was the chalk art, like the wall, right, with the chalkboard. And when I seen that, immediately I was like, we have to have something where the community could say what they want to say to the Jacka. Make it very, personable, interactive. And I think there's a lot of people that never really got the opportunity to thank them for, a lot of things, that whether it's I loved your music, or you touched me in some sort of way. And so I wanted to make sure that the community had an opportunity to express themselves, and that was a really big thing. So as small as it seems to have a chalkboard and write a message, it's so impactful. And then on top of that, if you walk right in, we have OG Zest from TDK. He did a tribute where it says the Jacka, Mob in Peace. It's dope.
TDK, the clothing brand?
Nah, the graffiti crew from they're from the Bay. Originated in Oakland from Dream, but TDK is actually one of the West Coast premier graffiti crews from around the way. But and we had a few folks from TDK in there. So as you walk down the hallway, you have a tribute mural by Apex, where it has the lyrics, the message from See It Through.
Yeah.
So we have Apex, we had Natty Rebel, we had Radio, we had Force 129.
Wait, Radio? The graffiti artist?
Yeah, Radio was in there.
That live in like Radio from San Jose?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, Radio was in it. Radio was in it. So we had the entire Bay Area, that represented. I mean, the entire Bay Area was represented in this particular show. It wasn't like just Oakland artists or San Francisco artists, San Jose artists. Everybody. We had folks from Sacramento participate. But shout out to all the muralists who did not get paid to do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, they did this on the strength because they wanted to speak, to the people. We had King, the legend King 157 from TDK. I mean, King is King. That's what they call him, King, right? King of Trains. But he did a b-boy. Most people don't know, but Jacka was a b-boy. He loved breakdancing as a kid, and I learned that from some of the family talked about it. So I wanted to have some sort of relation back to the old school hip hop. But as you walk down that long hallway and you see all those beautiful murals, that is literally your entrance into the experience, right? So you start to feel it and understand. Okay. Oh, another important one that before I forget is Sko from Sacramento. Mm-hmm. This young man is relentless. He messaged me like 10 times. He's like, can I be in the show? Can I be in the show? And everything was already filled, but one of the walls opened up. And so he just hit me at the right time. Sometimes it's meant to be. Timing, exactly. Timing. And being relentless, I mean, this guy was like anytime. And I wake up in the morning knowing that one of the walls just freed up. And it's a message from Sko, and he was like, can I come and hit a wall? Can I do anything? And so I hit him up. I'm like, and so he's like, I'll be there tomorrow. He came all the way from Sac, brought his little boy, and he spent the entire day on this wall. His son helped him. I think his son's no older than 5 years old. He was shorthanded, so we all started helping him buff the wall and do the things he had to do. But the message was what happened to the world, the song, right? And when you sit back and you watch it, I still get goosebumps. Is like, you see this young man who's so persistent in his art career. You got his son, he's a father, helping him on the mural. I mean, all that, the message that it was about is so impactful. So a lot of folks don't see that in the show, but all these elements leading up to the show is why I think you feel what you feel when you're out there, when you came to it. But Yeah, that was the entrance.
Yeah, man, I thought, because what I saw on the internet, because I followed a couple of people who went before I did,
right?
And the only pictures that I saw was of like the murals and the entrance. So I was just really the street posts. Like I was like, okay, this is some real stuff here. I know it's something else in here, because.
Yeah, and then when you walk through, the actual entrance is the corner store on 94th.
Yeah.
And so, we projected the mural that's there. We used the liquor store where you had to walk through the liquor store. You had the murals. And so as you go through, it's all an experience, right? And so that was another element that we wanted to add in there, is that you're literally walking into his world, a whole nother side.
I thought the lighting in there was cool too. It was a lot.
I'm glad you recognize that. You know why? Because that lighting, if we turned it into a street light, and so that's, a lot of people were like, the lighting is just right, but we actually had to modify it to make it look and feel like if you were walking at night.
Yeah,
in the street light.
That's what I felt like. It was like, yeah, walking at nighttime through this spot.
Yeah, it's all the minute details that really brought this show together. And a lot of those were done in moment. We're like, okay, we know we're going to do this, but how can we amplify it? Keep in mind, what's the day? The 5th? We got the keys about 7 days ago. So we turned this out in 7 days. Now, we knew the idea and concept leading up to it, but you really never, it's like playing football. I play football, right? Yeah. It's like, your game plan, but you don't know how you're going to execute it until you're in the game. Yeah. And that's exactly how it was. We knew, but it wasn't until we got there with the team and we're like, oh, we got to make a lot of adjustments. So, yeah.
That was dope. Well, let's take a small musical break. I got to handle a couple things here in the stew. I got some more questions, some more insights. Like, the event was dope. We got Andrew Espino in here right now representing for the event, the Jacka Art Experience that just happened over this past weekend. We'll be right back to talk some more about it. Keep it locked. We are chilling right now. Man, got Andrew Espino in the building, and we are talking about this event that just happened, the Jacka Art Experience. I mean, once we get a little bit deeper, I'll ask you more about curating events.
And all that. I think this one is definitely the biggest one I've ever been a part of, and I'm still living a high from this past weekend. But diving back into the experience, as we walk through that hallway and you turn and you first see the showroom, it's magical, man. That's the best way I could put it. The first day, I was talking to my buddy, the first day when I got there, after it was all done, see, we finished right before the show opened. Like, we literally finished at 3:00, so I wasn't even.
Oh, yeah, and the weather delayed it a little bit.
Yeah, man, so like, we went down to that last hour. I mean, the last minute, it was like, all right, we finished. I wasn't able to be there on the grand opening because I literally just finished and had to go home and get dressed. But that was like the level of dedication that all our team had, is like, we went down to the last minute, and that was ultimately what was important, is like, how can we finish every minute detail, right? And so on Wednesday when I got there, I was like, this is amazing. But it wasn't until Saturday when I walked in there, it still gives me like almost a little emotional, right? Because you walk in and you're like, wow. Like, we all did this, because there was the artist. The artist had to produce new work. A lot of them produced new work for this. So much hard work and dedication went into this process. And so, yeah, I mean, that was the whole thing.
What was it like coordinating with all these artists? Like, because there was so many pieces in there.
That's the back end that a lot of folks don't understand is so much time and effort. Because you want to make sure you answer all the right, questions that they have, so they can execute the art to the fullest. And so there was over 40 artists that participated in this show. That's 40 conversations, dialogues, and really guiding them. And we have a team, but I solely handle that by myself. That's a lot of work, And so, it sometimes feels a little overwhelming at times, because for me, You know, I always put my heart into everything I do. So, you know, if it's an artist that needs help, here I am talking to them and trying to help guide them, you know, whatever that may be, canvas size, details. But these artists were fantastic, you know. It was such a good group of artists. We had a group chat, and so everyone's in there just spreading positivity, helping each other in any way they can, guiding each other. And so it was a special group. And that, to me, you know, is what makes a show as well, is the group. How supportive are they of one another? You know, all that, working together as a team. And whether you're putting together music, or whether you're working together in business, or whether you're putting together an art show, the team is so important. And we had the right team, and that's why it felt the way it felt, you know. The other muralist I wanted to mention, everyone walked in there, we had 2 great murals in there. One was by Matt Hurd, and that was the big one with the blue, the colorful one, the portrait. That one, man, people don't know as well that he showed up. That's the one. The other one, the big one. We'll display it after, but it's the one inside the showroom. A lot of people, it was kind of like the backdrop.
Oh yeah, I took a picture in front of that one.
Yeah,
with, Slater.
So Matt Hurd was supposed to be in the show and actually produce more of a canvas piece, but time got short, and he was like, "Look, I still want to be in the show. I have this amazing piece that I want to put up." And so when he showed up on the spot, he was going to be in the hallway, and it just so happened we were able to get the mural inside. That actually happened on the spot. So he was supposed to be in the hallway. He showed me the piece, and I was like, "Yo, we got to put it in here." And so we kind of did it without asking for permission.
Do it and then ask, right?
Yeah. And so, like, we already started buffing the wall, getting it prepped, and then it just happened. But, I mean, he did that overnight. He didn't finish until 6 in the morning. So he showed up at 5 o'clock at night and finished at 6 in the morning. That was the dedication that these artists were putting into the show because they knew how important it was. And then we had Buku One from Oakland. I mean, he did an amazing piece on the Quran, you know, off one of the songs that Jacka had, and it, you know, you just feel you got the car in there, you know. So yeah.
Something else that I thought was tight was some of the studio.
Right.
So there was I don't want to use the wrong word.
The studio setup, like on the stage.
Yeah, there was one. They had a big like Jacka lettering. I mean, like what? Probably about 5 feet tall, maybe 4 or 5 foot letters.
Yes.
Said the Jacka.
Isn't that dope?
Yeah, that was tight.
We, you know, when we seen the space the first time, that wasn't in it. When we were in Soma, that wasn't in the show. And then as we started to move locations, I wanted to have something that said his name really loud. You know, that's all I could imagine is I wanted people to see his name. You know that, and so like. At first, it was going to be big boxes that we were going to put up. Instead, we had this as the backdrop, but I think it was perfect. It was beautiful. Everything about the show was amazing. You know.
I really thought the studio setup was pretty creative. Like, yeah, between that and I really did. I liked the street post, but like the studio setup, it just kind of made me think about the music that was being played.
Right.
It's like, oh man, it might have been some of the gear he actually used, right? Like,
right. Yeah. Exactly.
Like,
so we try to recreate, you know, what that looked like and felt like, and a lot of friends and family were like, oh, this takes me back to time, you know. So all that, man. Yeah, for sure. So the other special part of this show is D-Ray. Everyone knows D-Ray. She's a storyteller of the Bay, and so she's, you know, a legend here. For many years, she's documented not just the Jacka, which happened to be her best friend, but she documented a lot of artists here in the Bay. And it was the first time that she showcased these photos. And I remember when we were at Soma, we went on a tour with D-Ray and the team, and we were talking about the setup.
Soma is south of Market.
Yeah, so it's in San Francisco.
It's
that's
like
where
the art district.
Yeah, it's like this venue space in around that area. Yeah, and so that's where it was supposed to originally be held. You know, but when we met there, when I met D-Ray for the first time, and we were walking around, and I knew who she was. Didn't know she had that many photos. I mean, I know she takes a lot of photos. And she was like, no, I have a lot of photos. You know, I got thousands of them. I'm like, what? And so as we started talking about it, and she started showing me the photos, immediately I felt she had to be not just a part of the show, she had to be the show. Mm. You know, because the images that she has are moments in time of the Jacka. Moments in time when he's on stage, moments at times when he's laughing and playing and being who he is. You can see that. And so I thought it was really important, and just it was a real blessing to have her in the show and participate and share those moments, because those are personal moments too. You know, as her best friend, her brother. And so for her to open up and be vulnerable to say, hey, you know what, I want the world to see this. I thought to me, that was one of the most special parts of the show.
Yeah. That's dope. And speaking of stuff that makes the show special, it was a really special show, though. I felt it as soon as I got in. I was like looking for a place to sign, you know, like because everybody had taken up a lot of space. Man.
But you know, like when you're in the show, I think like it looks great, but the overall census that everyone says is that they felt it. Yeah. You know, you walk in visually and it's beautiful, and it's not what you expect. But more than anything is you didn't expect to feel a certain type of way either, right? And from your experience, right, did you feel a certain type of way?
Yeah, all right, so I was kind of excited when I saw the chalk wall and what happened to the world, and there's a couple of pictures that I showed you. I was excited. I'm like, okay, this is tight. But once you got to the back where the DJ was playing the music,
right,
and the lighting, it was kind of like, it was dark, but it was lit. It's dimly lit, like nighttime. In that street corner sign. I mean, I grew up in that neighborhood.
Oh, no way. Okay.
Well, kind of in that neighborhood in the '80s. I was on 94th about '80s.
Yeah.
I listened to him a little bit, and like right when Tear Gas came out. That's like a couple months before that is when I found out about Mob Figures. I had this is my personal story about Jacka and the Mob Figures. Like, I was working at Hometown Buffet in like Richmond Parkway.
Oh wow!
And like the homie that was the dishwasher was like, "Hey, you heard that Mob Figures?" I'm like, "What?" And then we went to the car at lunch break. You know how some people do sometimes, and he put it on. And I'm like, "Hey, let me borrow this CD." It's like 08, 09, 010, like that time. And that's what put me on to Mob Figures. Like,
oh, that's dope.
CD with the Sharpie, you know.
Yeah.
Borrowed it, never gave it back. And then Tear Gas came out. It's like, yep, I got it right.
That's what's up, man.
But speaking of the special thing, I went on a tangent.
No, all good.
I think it's special that not only did you get to, you know, be a part of something that is paying tribute to someone's life, but the family was involved with it.
Right.
Mama Jack was involved. I see Lil Jack there. Like,
right.
You know, I mean, it was a very brief meeting, but like it was cool to see that they not only approved, but like they was kind of part of it and there interacting with people, like, because this is a heavy, heavy subject matter.
Right. And it's it's so personable, and like I think that is the tall order. You know, I mean, there's one thing of doing a show and you want to make it, like I said, look a certain way, but having it feel a certain way, and then having it feel a certain way and feel acceptable to the family who are closest to them. You know, like that gave me anxiety, man. You know, you're like, am I going to do a good job? But you know, we got closer to the development of the show, and as we got into, especially this past week, none of that was a question anymore. I knew without a doubt that we were going to be able to showcase him and do it in the right way. There was like no questions about it. And I was so excited to do this, so for the family to walk through and feel it. Like I knew it. I knew once they walked through, I was like so excited. Like once they see it, and so like I think like there was a moment in time you have all this fear, and then after a while you're just like, all right, I'm locked in.
Yeah.
It's time. This is what we're gonna do. And so she loved it. She gave us her blessing. Like I said, it wasn't something that we did and then asked later. We asked her before, like, are you okay with it? She has her annual show, and so she was like, I never had a chance to sit back and really take it all in, because she's producing a show, talking to the artist. That's a lot of work. And so I think this was, I can't speak on her behalf, but I think this was a good way for not only Mama Jack but the family to have an opportunity to really process, everything that's gone on for the last 9 years, and so hopefully, they were super happy and proud.
I mean, I can't speak for anybody, but I was impressed. Like, I was telling them before we got on the air, like, there's this, it felt like a celebration. It was cool, and it was smiles and laughter and good conversations, but there was also this sense of reverence for just, it was this feeling of reverence, like, that it's a celebration of life, but also a little bit of grieving in there too,
Right. Like, I'm that's a blessing to hear, man, because like, I think all said and done, at the end of the day, this was about the Jack, and Jack was about so many different things, and this was an opportunity for people from all walks of life to come together from around the Bay Area and celebrate community, love. There was so much love and happiness in the air as well. That was just like, I was meeting people and instantly becoming friends. Talking about history in the Bay, and it was a beautiful moment in time. And always after the fact, we're all gonna look back and be like, man, that was a special moment. I feel like that was a special moment here in the Bay Area.
I think it was. And also it kind of proves that they chose the right guy, right?
Thanks, man. Thanks.
I want to ask you a little bit about One Culture. Like, you are One Culture?
That's right. Well, we all are One Culture, including you.
Hey, man, I just gotta put on the One Culture.
Yeah, well, a lot of people are like, yes, I'm the founder of One Culture, but One Culture's not just an individual. One Culture is all of us. That's what we represent. It doesn't matter if you're black, brown, yellow, white, what's your economic background, your social background. At the end of the day, we all believe in the same thing, and that's sending out a positive message, being creative, going against the odds. Those are all the things that I feel embodies One Culture. And so if you feel that way, then you're family. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was going to say something along the lines of you brought the culture together, or the things you mentioned, love and creativity,
unity.
Community and love, but creativity is also definitely in there. But you help facilitate that with this event that you just put together. Let's see, where can we find you?
Well, we're here in downtown San Jose. We, for the last year and a half, we've been at a location at 136 East Santa Clara Street, right by City Hall.
Yeah.
And we recently just closed our doors because we're looking to expand, and our new gallery will be 2 doors down at 150 East Santa Clara Street. So it'll be bigger. It'll be the old 4th Street Pizza.
What?
Yeah, so what's really cool about this, and this is the first time, actually, you're getting the exclusive, bro.
Let's go.
Yeah, you're getting the exclusive. So we closed the doors, and we closed the doors without really having everything locked in. We kind of jumped into it and crossed our fingers and said some prayers. But it ended up coming to fruition, and we're working with these young gentlemen from Eastside San Jose. I love ice cream. Anybody that knows me, there's things that I love. I love hip hop. I love ice cream. I love art. I love real estate, right? Football, all that good stuff. But I love ice cream. So I met these young gentlemen about a year ago, and we worked together. They actually did some pop-ups at our gallery for certain shows. Long story short, they're super creative. We are going to be opening up a ice cream parlor on the corner. So we're going to subdivide the 4th Street Pizza, So half of it will be an ice cream parlor, handcrafted ice cream. We'll have crazy flavors. I mean, some really innovative stuff. We're looking to have artists launch their own flavors and really take creativity to the next level, right? And then on the other side is going to be the art gallery. And so it's really going to be a special place. I really feel like this is an opportunity where San Jose artists get to be showcased, Bay Area artists get to be showcased. And since we've opened the gallery, many people don't know, but we had showcased over 400 artists in our gallery, from as far as Mexico City, Montreal, New York City, Miami, here locally. Some people that have never been in an art show came to our gallery. It was the first time they were ever in a gallery, side by side against someone like Apex, who is the best of the best. Yeah, and so that's what I believe what makes our home so special, is because everybody is welcomed. You know, everybody is welcome to showcase their work. Obviously, we select artists for a particular show, but if you're dope, you're dope. Right. That's just what it is. You know, if we really feel like you're headed in the right direction and that you're really trying to put yourself on, and you're taking your craft seriously, then this is your home. You know. I think for us growing up, I grew up in the East Side San Jose, and you know, growing up, you know, not going to galleries, you don't know how that looks and feels, right? So when I remember when I got out of college and I would go to these galleries, I'll be honest, I didn't, like in Palo Alto or Monterey, I didn't feel very comfortable. It's not that I didn't think the art was pretty, but it didn't really speak to me the way other art has, you know? A few of my uncles were incarcerated, so when they would when I was younger, they would mail me artwork. You know, they would say things like "Good luck on your football season" or like "Merry Christmas," and I would put those away in a safe space. Some of them I put them up in my room, and at that time, I was collecting art.
Yeah, didn't really recognize what you're. Wow, man! Years later, shows.
Yeah, and I think like for me, like when I'm participating and I'm curating shows and I'm actually for me, like being involved in this is actually taking me back to when I was young. You know, I remember watching Zest, you know, doodle in his book, and that's my homie from back in the day, you know. And I remember hip hop, you know. I wasn't a b-boy because I was a little on the bigger side, so I couldn't move as big, but I could pop lock a little bit. But I loved hip hop. It was like I had every tape, but it takes me back to that special place, you know. And so for me, I'm able to like fast forward and share these moments in a different way, you know, from my experiences, and take them into the gallery and say, okay, cool, how can we recreate this feeling of family and warmth and creativeness, all that, bro.
I think curation is just an interesting topic. My question, and this is kind of related, but how much have you grown since the first show that you curated compared to like?
As a curator, a lot. As a human being, as a person, I mean, it's been surreal. I've learned to be a lot more patient. You know, I learned to be more understanding, you know, to a lot of different circumstances. Look, I came out of college, and when I played college football, I came out of college and I went right into real estate. And I was a beast. I mean, I got after it. I wake up every morning at 4 o'clock, I go work out, I hit the phones, I cold call, and I made that my priority in life. Like, I was gonna be successful at this, you know. I took a liking to it. That being said, is I didn't also give myself an opportunity to grow in many places, you know. I would remember contributing to the community, and I was always contributing to the community, but I would mostly write checks. You know, someone would come to me and say, hey, you know, can you donate for this? We're doing a mural here, or we're doing this here. And so I'd be like, yeah, no problem. And so that was my way of being connected. And it wasn't until a couple of years ago that I started to feel like I want to do more than write a check.
Right.
I want to be able to take my experiences in life and business, and because it's not all success, You know, I've had a lot of failures in my life in a lot of different areas. And so it's humbled me, and it's given me an opportunity to take a step out of who I was then and come back. And I want to say, like, recreate myself, but have an opportunity to have a different perspective in life and offer that to a lot of the youth, you know. And so just people in general. But yeah, back without losing and getting off on a tangent, this art gallery curation experience has helped me grow in life. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, I'm so thankful for the opportunity from the community, from the artist, to allow me to enter into that world, because I'm not an artist. You know, I didn't go to school for art. If you ask me to draw you something, we could do smiley faces all day if you want.
That's a surprise. That's a surprise right there.
Yeah, what? Man. I mean, I try, man. I try to toy around and stuff, and but I don't know. I don't have the patience, you know, for real, for actually drawing and doing anything like that. But yeah, I mean, it's been a blessing, man. And like I said, the artist being open to hearing what I have to say, because that ain't easy. You see this guy coming from a different world, so to say, right? And they're like, okay, what's his motive? You know, what's he trying to do? And really, what my motive is to bring communities together at the end of the day, from all walks of life, right? And so, and really be honest and truthful. And yeah, you know, this is a business as well. We're not a nonprofit, so we got to make money to pay our bills, right? So like, that also,
it gotta make sense.
It gotta make sense, man. So like, you know, like, if you can't get that 101, right? So we're not doing this also with I don't want to say a handout, but we're not being subsidized, man. And so we gotta hustle and grind. That takes us back to, you know, hip hop and what I feel is very relatable to what we're doing, you know.
Right. Because if nobody's, like, you got to pay for it one way or another, right? Either with the finances or, you know, the elbow grease, one or the other. There's
exactly.
no in between.
And so, like, you know, being subsidized comes with limitations. You know, you can't just wake up tomorrow and say, I'm going to do this show. You know, there's a chain that you got to follow, right? You got to go up the ladder. And for us, because we're for profit, we're an actual business, tomorrow we could wake up and say, this is what we're going to do, and let's do it. Right. And to me, that's the empowering part. And that's where we need the support from the community, not just showing up to the actual venues and not just showing up to the art show, but participating and buying art.
Right.
You know, buying art supports our business, but buying art also supports the artist. See, the artists have to be compensated for them to survive. And it's this whole economic, you know, empowerment that we're trying to create. It's a system within our own system, you know. And so that's, like I said, we could go on for days about that, but that's real talk, man, for real, you know.
Let's see, how do we find you on the interwebs?
Okay, so I mean, we do a lot of our stuff mainly on Instagram. So it's IG. It's one culture _. And then we have a second page, which is Culture Walls. And if you're familiar with a lot of the murals here downtown, right behind our gallery is One Culture Alley. And you'll see this alley. And so you have a bunch of murals that are in there.
I think I know, is that right behind, is that Liquid? Is it that?
Yeah, so it's that parking lot between Liquid and then the corner of where our new business is, or where our new gallery is going to be, across from City Hall. We branded it as One Culture Alley, and that was something that was created just actually exactly a year ago, to the date. So
today?
Yeah, well, this past weekend, we did a show called Bay Area Legends, which paid homage to all the there's so many graffiti legends, so we couldn't get everyone in there, you know, but it was a curation with another artist from Lord's crew, which is Whisper. And so that was just a great show. The point is we did this show a year ago, and not just showcasing artists in the gallery, we decided to take it to the streets. And we decided to create this special place in downtown where it just happened, creativity happened on the spot. So we invited artists not only that were in the show, but local artists to just come get down and rock for the weekend. And it just happened. You know, we had over 50 artists that participated. Even a lot of the legends that are on these walls shrunk their productions to give space to a lot of the other artists that weren't in the show. And so it's you got to take a trip down there. It's One Culture Alley. But yeah, it's behind Liquid Lounge.
Yeah, I pass it all the time, man. I'm local, you know.
Yeah. we got some real legends in there. We got Messenger from Lords, Monos. You know, we got tons of artists from TDK. We got King, Zest, Poem, Gyro, Spy. We have OG Nexus, who is a legend not just in San Jose, but in the graffiti world. OG Nexus is one of the creators of 3D writing, so the writing looks 3D-ish. That's our guy, man. He's from San Jose. San Jose has a lot of rich history. We have Shin Shin. She's the first female of graffiti on the West Coast. She's from San Jose.
Shout out.
Shin Shin, what up? Yeah, she. You know, these are some really great artists that actually were born and raised here. You know, and they moved on with their careers, but they came back and rocked that alley. And so there's a lot of hidden messages in that alley too, if anyone gets a chance to go by there and take a look. But that's what we're about, man. We're about the creativity and really trying to try to promote opportunities and create a platform for artists, you know. Right. And I think there's nobody doing it like us. I know so, you know, because of the time and effort that we're all putting into this. So you're one culture, we're all one culture. Come get down, you know.
I feel honored to have this conversation, man. It's tight, especially after going to the event.
Right.
Yeah, because it's one thing to see it, but then it's another thing to feel it. It's kind of like traveling.
Yeah.
It's like, man, you see that big old mountain and that big old tree in that picture, right? But then when you standing under it, looking up, it's like you feel some type of feeling, you know? Like,
yeah, I mean, we got a great team, man. I mean, you know, we're all really locked in. We're all really good at what we do. You know, we have Miguel Machuga, who's an amazing artist. He's our lead installer. You know, in our gallery, he helps design a lot of the floor plans. He helped design the floor plan for the Jacka show. You know, we have Lil Ernie. Ernie's from the north side of San Jose, but, you know, he helps out a lot in the installation process. We have Renee Castillo, you know, he's our creative director. Created these right here. That's his figure, yeah. Right? These stickers that are here.
Yeah, we got some fly stickers, man. I got some new stuff for my speaker. I'll be putting stickers on my speaker.
Yeah, there you go, man. So yeah, I mean, we got a good team. You know, we're small, but everybody understands what the mission is. It's bigger than ourselves. You know, I stress that a lot to the artist and to our team, is that we're doing something bigger than ourselves. You know, you got to be able to remove yourself when you step into the gallery, you know, and when you're even in one of our shows, you are going to be highlighted, but you are going to come together as a group, you know, and we're going to showcase and we're going to promote each other together. I think that's so important, because I've seen this literally happen in our gallery, and I would talk about this example is as a lot of the collectors are coming to the gallery, some of the collectors are coming to see a particular person because they like their art, they bought art from them, but they walk in and they end up buying another piece of art of an artist they never knew, you know, or they never seen. And so by cross-promoting each other and really helping each other build up the show is so important, because now you're entering into different
demographics,
there you go,
people,
all that.
So a popular thing that I've heard recently is the rising tide floats all boats, and the cross-pollination of the ecosystem.
That's it, exactly. You nailed it.
Yeah, man, it's tight. But we are at the top of the hour. You know, we almost talked for an hour straight. This is tight. We could talk some more too.
Yeah.
Let's see. We are at the top of the hour. I gotta make sure I give you guys the call letters. We are listening to 90.5 KSJS San Jose. We could wrap it up in a couple minutes, but I got a couple things I need to handled here in the studio. So keep it locked. We got Andrew Espino in the building. One culture is everywhere with my new understanding.
That's right.
Let's go. Keep it locked right here on 90.5 FM, KSJS. We got Andrew Espino in the building, and we are wrapping it up, man. He just threw a iconic event this weekend, celebrating the life of the Jacka.
Yep. Yeah. Well, thank you. I mean, I appreciate you having me and letting me talk a little bit about it, you know, sharing the experience of that show as well as what we're doing in the community. I think now moving forward with One Culture, it's exciting to see all the things that, you know, we're working on. We got quite a few events that are going to be popping off this year. We're working on trying to do a show out in Brooklyn. It'll be a show for an artist here as well as a group of artists, but I don't want to spill it just yet, but we are working on a One Culture show in Brooklyn. We're also doing the expansion of the gallery, so that's going to be super fresh. We're working again with the Santa Clara County Fair, so we'll be participating into the Santa Clara County Fair art show, and we got some more mural projects that we'll be kicking off. It's just really exciting, man, to see everybody kind of coming together, because I remember when they were like, what's One Culture, you know what I mean, what is it, and now I hear it all the time. Like when I was at the event, people are like, yo, One Culture, right, we're down. But it's like taking on its own life, and I just feel like everybody can connect to it, and I'm just super grateful and happy where it's headed, you know.
I have to say that name choice is like, that's a big part of, like, if it sounds cool, it's already cool, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, One Culture just sounds cool. It don't sound like too much nonsense with being One Culture, you know?
Yeah, I heard that, man.
One love, One Culture. It's like everything that we talked about. Community.
Yep. All that. I think, like, being in the land of innovation, right? Being here in Silicon Valley, everyone thinks of creativity, and everyone thinks of like forward thinking technology, and I feel like with our brand and what we're doing, we're being innovative and creative in a totally different field.